Hello, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be discussing reasons why I decided to file exempt from my 9-to-5 job. If you are interested in videos based around finance, fashion, and lifestyle, just keep watching. Hello, if you are new here, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you are not subscribed to my channel, why not? Go ahead and press that subscribe button and press that notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video. Like I said in the intro, in today's video, we will be discussing the reasons why I decided to file exempt from my 9-to-5 job. Let's go ahead and get right into this video. So before we get started, let me provide you with a little bit of history. I have been preparing taxes for as long as I can remember. My math teacher back in high school, his name is Mr. Abrams. Shout out to Mr. Abrams. But he showed me then how to file my taxes. He showed me the actual form, the 1040 form, how I can file my taxes and get only what I pay back on my taxes while still allowing my parents to claim me on their taxes. So at that moment, I knew then that I love taxes, I love math, and I've always loved math. That's always been one of my favorite subjects in school. Still is. So some years later, once I decided to start having children, I made the decision that I was not safe with people knowing my children's social security numbers. A lot of us come from that community where it was easy for you to use your kids' social security numbers and such things like that and get the utilities on in their name and rent and such things like that. And then you wonder the reason why a lot of people are in debt before they are even able to go out into this world and do things on their own. It has a lot to do with, sometimes they have a lot to do with what their parents did to them, right? So in that moment, knowing these things, I was never safe and secure with anyone knowing my children's social security number. So in that moment, I decided to learn how to do my own taxes. Doing that, I decided to work for an income tax company. So I am very savvy when it comes to taxes and all of the forms and such things like that. So now, fast forward. I filed my taxes, and of course, just like anyone else who does not owe the IRS or the government, I'm excited for my refund, right? I done made all of these plans. We're gonna go on vacation. I'm gonna get some of these bills caught up. And then it was a lot of those bills that were still lingering over from the prior year, from Christmas, and where I overspent. With the mindset of, when I file my taxes, I'll just go ahead and pay off some of this debt. No problem. I want to say that tax return should have been maybe about $6,000 or $7,000. At that time, I qualified for the earned income credit, the child tax credit, and those other tax breaks during that Obama time. I want to say it was the first year that Obama was elected. So, he was giving us all of these tax cuts. So I qualified for a refund amount of roughly about $6,000 or $7,000. I had been paying into my taxes, paying a little bit over the amount of what I actually was supposed to pay in efforts of getting a nice size refund amount, right? To my surprise, student loans have finally caught up to me. I'm thinking that I'm about to get ready to get this check. My friends calling, girl, I got my check. So I'm like, let me call and see what's going on. I called. They said, we are going to send you a letter in the mail. I got that letter, opened up that letter, and there was an offset. Sally Mae had finally got me. They took my entire check. And I called my friend, and I'm so upset. I'm just boo-hooing. How am I going to catch up with these bills? I've promised my children this vacation. Just all kinds of promises that I made financially and to my children that I just wasn't able to now fulfill those promises. So I was sick. Like, I was upset. And in that moment, I thought to myself, because I am a person who accepts accountability for her actions also. I thought to myself, well, they could not have paid out something that they never had. So in that moment, I said, well, if you wasn't paying them the taxes, then they could not have paid Sally Mae and whoever else have any type of offsets behind you. Now, don't get me wrong, I am the type that is big on paying paying her bills and such things like that. Now, back then, I mean, I was young. I was a single mom. I had to do what I had to do. You know, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, and who else knows? Jim, Bob, and Billy too. Okay, so you know, I wasn't as financially savvy. So now that I am financially savvy, I made the decision, you can't pay something that you don't have. That's like how I thought the logic to me was, that's like I owe Susan $10, but Susan owes Michelle $10. I'm talking to Michelle and I'm telling her, hey, yeah, I need to go ahead and send Susan this $10 that I owe her. And Michelle say, no, Susan owe me $10, so you can just pay me the $10 that you owe her, and then that'll cover her debt to me. So now Susan called me and she said, hey, Judy, where's my $10 at? And I'd be like, oh, girl, Michelle, I was talking to Michelle. Michelle said you owe her $10. So I went on ahead and sent the money, or gave Michelle the $10 that I owed you to pay off your debt. Now, how fair is that? And I understand debt is debt, but at the same time, you don't get to pick and choose when I can and can't pay, when I will and when I won't pay whatever debt that I owe. I know I owe them people. I get it. And by the grace of God, it's finally paid off, because once I realized that, I went on ahead and let them take 2 years of my taxes. After that, and after that debt was settled, I made the decision in that moment. And then, of course, doing further research on what the government does with our money. And this is not this whole conspiracy theory. I don't want you guys to think that. I'm also not a financial advisor, so I don't want you all to think that either. But once I did research on the things that the government does with our money, it made no sense to me. So in that moment, I said, well, entrepreneurs get to put their money to the side, their taxes to the side, and pay at the end of the year if they owe. Why can't someone who works a regular job do the same thing? Like, why can't that be an option to us? So in that moment, I made the decision that I'm going to go exempt. And I am going to then take 30% of whatever my remaining income is. Of course, post anything that's pre-tax, such as pension, retirement, HSA accounts, those things that are pre-tax, I take advantage of all of that stuff. So anything that I get a tax break from, I max that out, and then what's left over, those are the funds that I actually tax and put over into a high yield savings account. So whatever comes to me after those deductions, then I multiply what that amount that is on my check amount by 30%. I put that amount into a high yield savings account. At the end of the year, or around tax season, after I file my taxes, which is April, I push it all the way to the deadline, which is April. I end up just writing them a check out of my high yield savings account, and then whatever is left over, that remaining balance would then become my refund. Okay, so not only am I going to get a refund back if I qualify for one, so not only am I going to get a refund back, I've also gained anywhere between 4% and 4.5%. Right now, my high yield savings account is giving me 4.5%. Now, I know you guys are probably asking, well, why don't you invest that money? Because after a year, I need that money back. Also, as far as investments is concerned, they tend to fluctuate. So I never want to invest that money, because then what if I lose? Then I'll end up coming out of my own pocket to pay my taxes, and I don't want to do that. Now, whatever is left over, which is considered my refund, then I'll go ahead and invest that money. Whether I put it into my stock portfolio, or I put it into a CD account for my children or my grandchild, some type of way I'm going to continuously gain money off of that money. Or sometimes I'll just leave it in my high yield savings account, so that when the next tax year comes, I'm up maybe a year or two, possibly. I don't know. But it doesn't affect the tax breaks that I get on my taxes. I will still get all of those tax breaks. It doesn't affect any of that. But at the end of the year, when it's time to pay, if I owe, then I'll send a check to them. Okay? Again, they can't take what they don't have. So if this is good for someone, I don't know what your financial situation is. However, this is good for those who owe some type of, if you're concerned about the IRS taking your money to pay an offset. So I'm letting you guys know this is not a conspiracy theory channel, and I am not a financial advisor. But once I did the research on the investments that the government make as far as our money is concerned, because what they do is they collect the taxes from us, taxpaying citizens, and then they pay into certain things that I don't necessarily agree with. Maybe it being, I don't know. I don't want to go into and specify those things that I don't believe in. But there are certain things that they make investments into that I don't necessarily agree with. And again, why allow them to sit on my money and make these investments that I don't agree with, or contribute to a lot of programs where they are not minority based with money that I'm paying? I would rather just invest my money into a high yield savings account and easily gain the interest from that. Now again, at 4%, and I have over $10,000 sitting in this account, we're talking about $400 that I made by just sleeping. I did nothing at all. It works for me. If this is something that you plan on using for the next year, then let me know. Leave a comment down in the comment box and we can discuss a little bit further. But yeah, I think that's going to go ahead and bring us to the end of this video. I just wanted to come on here and give a description or give an explanation as to why I came up with the idea of going exempt. And maybe I'm not trying to convince anyone to do the same thing, because I understand that taxpayers' dollars do go towards certain things. Now, if that's something that you agree with, then that's fine, but it's not for me. So this is going to go ahead and bring us to the end of this video. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Or they leave your stuff sitting outside. What? You gonna leave my food on the ground? No. Oh no. And this is a safe space, and I'm not judging nobody who makes a decision. But I'm sorry. I ain't with it. I ain't with it. But if I did, like I like a Chipotle bowl every now and again. I like some tacos from a fast food restaurant every now and again. And if you're from Chicago, Harold's, I do like me some Harold's every now and again. However, if I'm too lazy to go and get in the car and get it, then that means I don't need it.